Not playing a shot, but well outside the line also. So that's the end of that over. And it looks like that may well be time. Off go the bails. So that is a very interesting first couple of hours this morning.
Yeah, this last one, I think Aidan Markham was going last delivery before lunch. Make sure you don't do anything silly. Don't do anything silly. Don't do anything silly. And then he probably would have thought, why didn't you just push your bat down and make good contact with anyway? But he's been superb. He's got to lunch. 81 not out. South Africa 180 for 5. And would be a session that I think South Africa would have felt like they've won. The fact that he's been there. Was 47 not out overnight, Aidan Markham, and they're just 31 runs now behind of what Pakistan managed to accumulate.
Fourteen fours, that's a really good rate for Aidan Markham. 180 for 5 is where they are. And 2 good solid hours of test match cricket. It's a bit of variable bounce around the place. 1 or 2 balls climbing a little bit more. Pakistan at times a little bit flat. But Shahzad back in the for 5 is where they are. And 2 good solid hours of test match cricket. It's a bit of variable bounce around the place. 1 or 2 balls climbing a little bit more. Pakistan at times a little bit flat. But Shahzad back in the attack. Clearly Nasim Shah is not well. Shahzad, we're worried about him because it took an hour and a half before he bowled for the first time today, which is most unusual. And we have a quick look at the South African batting card. Markham no doubt 81. He's leading the pack. A couple of 30s with Verma and Beddingham. And Bahrain has just arrived, faced 4 deliveries at this stage. But
आप देखते हैं कि बावजूद कि ये लीगल स्पेक्ट्रम है, इसकी पुष्टपनाही है, इशराफिया भी उसके साथ खड़ी है कि रवां
सील का निशाना, पैदावार के साथ इनामात का खजाना, जीते बेशुमार इनामात और उम्रा टिकट के बम्पर प्राइज दिए गए QR कोड स्कैन करें और कुरानदाजी में हो जाएं।
इस मैजिकल ऑफर को जाने ना दें। अब कोका कोला की 2 लीटर बोतल सिर्फ 220 रुपए में। खाना बनाए मैजिकल कोका कोला के साथ।
Enjoy unlimited free deliveries and order on and on and on with Panda Pro.
जैज़ के पास हर नीड का हल है। बस *699# मिलाओ और अपने लिए खास बनाए पैकेज को अपनी सुपर पावर बनाओ।
He's ungovernable, by the way. Anyway, unplayable. Well, yeah. That's your general thoughts on what that's done for either side.
It's given South Africa a bit of confidence, the way that Aiden has played. The fact that he's on 80 and just gives you a lot of confidence that this man is, and he's going to go big. So if you're in the South African camp, you are ahead of the game, not by a lot, because 1 or 2 wickets from Pakistan's perspective, but South Africa are ahead of the game. If you're a South African supporter, you're pretty happy with it.
Yeah, look, I think it's confidence from Aiden Markham. He's almost got this aura around him of a man that's determined to get some runs, and player of his caliber, he knows he's been a little bit short, even though he has scored almost 500 runs this year. He's pushing himself on his performances, and he's a guy that wants to lead from the front with the bat, and he's the guy who goes out to battle first to face that new rock. So he's played today, the determination and the confidence that he showed. It's a ground he knows well. It's a conditions that he knows well on a tricky wicket. I think he's played really, really well, and he's put South Africa on the front foot.
Yeah, what does this wagon wheel tell you, Hashim? If you looked at that and it was yours, what would you glean from it?
Yeah, I'd say it's typical Centurion wagon wheel for a batsman who is batting like a test batsman. And I say that because he's not played any fancy shots. He's stuck to his strength, which is the back foot punch on the offside, off his legs, as you can see there on the onside. So he's stuck to his strength, and he's played a test innings, which I'm very excited to see, because when you see batters play test innings and they're successful, hopefully it transfers to all the other batters in the team that, listen, we don't need to do a lot different. Wait for the bad ball, hit it for 4, and you're looking out for the good ball. And there's been quite a few bad balls dished up there, and he's put it away. And that's what test batters, or quality test batters like himself, that's what they do.
Chris, speak from a bowler's perspective and what this pitch has done. Perhaps compare yesterday today, and also what generally one would do playing here at Centurion in terms of the adjustments you must make.
Look, I think yesterday, obviously, naturally, there would be a lot more movement. The grass is a lot more fresher, not as dry as it is. A little bit of sun in it today, and we know that the pitch does speed up day 2, day 3, and then that's when it starts to deteriorate ever so slightly. So, look, I think as a bowler, I think there's an expectation, as we spoke about, or expectation of bowlers are under pressure to take wickets because there is assistance. And what I haven't seen enough from the Pakistan bowlers, in my personal opinion, is that we haven't seen a lot of short balls. Yes, there's movement up at the top. Yes, it is swinging around. Yes, there is nip. But you've got to test the batters with the short ball, specifically on a pitch that's up and down. The bounce isn't as consistent as you like to think at Supersport Park. So when you've got ones that are rising and aren't getting up, and guys are going to take it on, because the South African batting lineup, we want to say they are inexperienced and when to play, when not to play. You've got to go that aggressive route. And when they weren't taking wickets, it was none of that for me. It was a case of, right, let's just hang it out there. We'll leak a few boundaries and hopefully we get a nick. Yes, they've got 2 wickets, but one good ball to Bavuma. Bedingham potentially would have left that one, got a bit of extra bounce. So I'll call him a little bit unlucky when it comes to that edge. But I'd like to see a little bit more intensity. Naseem Shah doesn't look like he's at his best, doesn't look like he's fully fit. Potentially something going on in the belly, we don't know. But I would love to see a little bit of short pitch bowling. We saw Sri Lanka did that to South Africa. They got their wickets on a better wicket in St. George's. So I'd like to see that from them, a little bit more aggression we've come to know from Pakistan over the years, and set the fields for us and see if the South African guys can be patient enough to duck under them.
Okay, I'll shift you a little bit, guys. Do you have a KG story? Do you?
There's many, but
you have many?
Yeah, many, but not for TV consumption. Sorry, guys.
So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm thinking that you're going to give me the same sort of answer. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll give you some time to sift through those stories so that you can tell one on television. And perhaps you can kind of, redact some things and ensure that you replace with appropriate stuff, and then you can tell the story. Whilst you do that, the two of you, it's nice, I like giving people homework actually. Whilst they do that, folks, you can enjoy part 2 of KG.
For me, it's an honor for me to represent South Africa, and I don't take it for granted. So yes, very special for me. yeah, it's been almost 10 years, so hopefully keep going for several more years. Fast bowler Proteas, and this is my story.
Wickets for Kagiso Rabada. 200 wickets for Rabada. Cleans him up, and number 300 for Kagiso Rabada.
When you look at other champions in other sports, who do you look to? Who are your other inspirations outside of cricket?
Actually, growing up, one of my first heroes was Skalkberger. Yeah, the way he played really stood out for me. Like, he was just everywhere and made himself a menace. And obviously he was playing really good rugby. But I just liked his demeanor and his aura. Having played rugby myself at the time, I think I must have been about 9 years old. And watching rugby, I'd always look out for him. Others include Floyd Mayweather and Cristiano Ronaldo. Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he's a freak. The fastest ever to run 100. He's the fastest man ever. I mean, crazy. He was just taking the when he ran.
Almost intergalactic. Superb running from Usain Bolt.
In terms of Proteas specifically, when you came in, obviously a lot of comparisons are made with people that have been there before. You spoke about Wakantini earlier. How much influence did you take from what he did in that jersey?
Yeah, tons. Especially as a youngster, you're very naive to everything else, to what's happening. But to see someone of you're the same skin color as you doing what he's doing, and it almost like it breaks down a barrier, especially in a sport like cricket where you'd see a lot more white people playing the sport. But as a youngster, being naive to everything, you just see guys that are playing well, and that's all I saw. But then you really understand it the older you get, and the more you understand like what that really meant, especially in cricket and the era that he played in, and where this country comes from. Then you have much more respect for a guy like that, simply because of the landscape of South Africa, without getting too technical about it. So obviously I appreciated him and what he did way more as I got older, because I got to understand certain metrics.
Massive spell from Kagiso Rabada, and he's turned.
It means so much to me wearing the South African badge, simply because growing up, this is what I used to watch, and I'm sure all the other young and aspiring boys who wanted to play for South Africa, because they've seen their role models and heroes play there, and taste success on that high level and see how much joy it gives people. So for me, it's an honor for me to represent South Africa, and I don't take it for granted. So yes, very special for me. I believed from the time I was in high school, I said, nah, this is what I want to do. And I'm just glad that it's unfolded that way. It was a dream for me. It's all about dreaming big. And maybe I didn't realize perhaps how
300, it's 319. And what you've got to look at is the strike rate. And sometimes you sort of try and break that down, don't you? So 69 test matches and he's got 319 wickets. So nearly 5 wickets a match. And that's comparable and probably even better than those who are the best to have ever done it. And I suppose that's as well as I can put it in terms of trying to place him with regard to this our game, right? Guys, is your teammate, and I'll go to the mighty Hashim first.
Yeah, 3 stories come to mind. Can we go 3 stories?
Well, depends how quickly you can tell them.
No, it's short stories. Okay, the first one was a clip that we had seen with him batting when he was playing for Kent. And we know KG, sometimes he's a bit of a cloud man.
He's a moon man.
Moon man, there we go, cloud. We've gone from clouds to intergalactic. He's a moon man.
Right.
And he walks into bat and I'm somebody who always had my arm guard in the right position. So you kind of notice it in other people, you know. So he walks into bat and initially it looks like he's got a sweatband on his left hand. But at closer inspection, he's got an arm guard in his wrong hand. So obviously the arm guard comes in here. So he's put his arm guard on his left hand. So that's obviously part of his moon man status.
Right.
The other one was, it was my last test as captain for the South Africa. We were playing in Cape Town. Mario debut, I think it was.
England.
England, yeah. 2016, I think it was New Year's Test match. And it was a really good batting wicket. So we're bowling first, and
so you're toiling first.
We are toiling. We are in the dirt, and Ben Stokes and Bairstow is just cutting us. He smacked it everywhere. I think Murray bowled well though. So anyway,
it's got some shivers again, man.
Anyway, so we get all over the place. So we go with a strategy. Okay, pack the offside. We got to take it out of swing. Let's try and make the long boundary. Maybe we keep him quiet, and best case scenario, we get him out. Cool. First ball he runs in. So we got a 7-side field. Guys in the boundary, 1 or 2 slips in. He bowls the ball, hits him on the thigh pad. So I'm pondering now. He hit him on the thigh pad. He's missed his mark by about quite a distance, maybe 2 meters of
a whole pitch.
The whole pitch. So I'm thinking in my mind, I said, maybe I wasn't clear enough in my communication to him. So I go to him. I said, KG, offside field, and trying to get it on the wide line, basically. Bowls the next ball on the thigh pad again. So now I'm convinced either he doesn't know or my communication skills is So I go again, I said, KG, why do I? He looked at me and he said, Ash, I'm going. Then I knew every ball, he just wanted the ball again because he knew that we were in big trouble. And you saw it in his eyes, and it just his eyes whenever I managed to play with him for quite a while. And that's I don't know what
Steely determination.
That's exactly it. Steely determination that is going to make the play for the team. And it was a beautiful sight. And in my heart, I think about it now. I think, wow, that's like a sportsman. You know what I mean? Like the elite sportsman, what they have in their eyes.
Yeah, almost gladiatorial, where it's them or me. Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Okay, Morris, your story.
So I got probably two that stick out for me. Was I had a tour to Australia, a one-day tour. And we're in Brisbane, and the hotel we stayed in a bit of a U shape. So I was on this side of the hotel, and beautiful view of the river in Brisbane, and I was looking at the lights at night, and I saw some movement to my left. And as you do when you're looking out a window, you look to your left, and it was KG Rabada in all his glory walking around his room.
Oh, no.
So I had to make a little phone call to KG and say, boy, maybe close your windows, or maybe close your curtains, boy, people can see what you're working with. And then my second PG story that I can tell about KG was the first time I ever saw KG Rabada.
Yeah?
First time I saw him, he arrived at the Lions, he came straight from school, first of all, he'd arrived late, which is KG in a nutshell. But he had his boots in his hand, and I saw this guy with the longest arms I'd ever seen come walking down that tunnel. And I was batting, we were prepping for the T20 series in South Africa, and they'd given KG the ball. Quinny was still captain, and I thought, well, Quinny's going to tell him to bump me, so I'm going to take this youngster down. And it wasn't until the second time he hit me on the chin, no jokes, he cut me on my chin. The second time he hit me, I knew, okay, we've got someone here, this dude's got something about him. And from that moment on, you almost notice a player, and from that moment on, he has literally taken his game to a completely different level. He went from a 19 World Cup winning player, played a full season for the Lions, took, I think, 50 or 60 poles.
Broke Dale's record.
Broke Dale's record for the most wickets played in the game. Caught it slip like a gem, obviously. But I watched him literally just mature into this international player, and he has not looked back since then. And it's the fact that it's only 319 wickets. It shows you how the fitness of the man, the patience of the man, and the mental strength of the man to get where he is. And look, we haven't played nearly the amount of test matches that we should have played. And for him to have done what he's done in those amount of test matches is incredible. And like I said, just a testament to the special player that KG Rabada is.
Yeah, nice one. There you go. It's a good thing I asked you to tell the stories then, right? You didn't want to tell them.
I got lots more.
And look, you want to rob them. You want to rob everybody of such lovely stories. Yeah, thank you very much, Hashim, and thank you, Christopher. Yeah, lovely. The hallmark of an absolute champion in Kagiso Rabada. There's one more part to go in that Rabada story. I think it's one, actually. There might be two, but there's one more to go. Before we get to that, which will be tomorrow, let's take a break and then talk about what's happening in session 2 on day 2. Welcome back, everybody. Just talking into session number 2 on day 2, lunchtime, and South Africa 31 runs behind. They are 180 for 5. And Markram is leading the charge, 81 not out. Hashim's gone and Ramiz is in. Chris decided to stay. He probably wanted to tell another story. We won't get him to do that, though. We've got to talk into the next session. First question to you, Ramiz. Your thoughts on rotation, non-rotation, non-introduction of Khurram Shahzad for so long? What was it, 3 overs he bowled in the session?
Yeah, I mean, Shan Masood had a pretty ordinary session that as a captain, because not only did he not introduce Khurram Shahzad, it took him hour and a half to introduce him, but also no spin. Abbas bowled non-stop for 8 overs. I mean, we know that he's medium pacer, we know he likes to bowl, but a change when the partnership is growing, it's brewing, the fundamentals of captaincy forces you to change the bowling dynamics and combination. I thought he was pretty ordinary that way, Shan Masood, unfortunately, because he tries hard. We know that, you know, he means well, he's a good listener, he talks a lot of sense, but that first session, because of captaincy, I think Pakistan did suffer.